Hello and welcome to another issue of European ROTORS digital series. 2020 has been, as we all know, a horrible year, especially the aviation sector has been hit hard. So in 2021, it will be a lot about recovery. And one strategy here could be to look for some public funding. Therefore, it's a real pleasure for me that we speak with IDP European Consultants today, a company specializing in funding opportunities at European Union level. So let's first introduce my interview partner today. Ciao, Lorenzo.
Good morning, Frank. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine. Good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me, Frank. I'm very thrilled to be here today. Just a little bit of an introduction about myself. I'm Lorenzo. I'm Italian. I've been living and working abroad for 20 plus years now. I've lived in the US for extended amount of time. Then I moved to Central Asia. I lived in Russia, then the Caucasus. I've been traveling quite extensively in my career. I've been working for 15 years as a consultant for the World Bank in focusing on innovation, finance, and SME development, competitiveness. So this is the three areas that I'm really passionate about. And then in 2008, I started working on international collaborative projects funded by the European Commission. So I've gained quite extensive experience in EU funding programs and European projects, as they call it. On a more personal basis, on a more personal level, I really enjoy traveling, exploring and seeing new places and meeting new people. And I'm very glad that actually working on European projects, it's a good combination because you typically travel and meet multicultural and multifunctional teams. So I consider myself blessed that I can combine these personal and professional features.
Yeah, Lorenzo, I have forgotten. What is traveling?
Traveling is this thing that we used to do back in time, you know.
I see.
But
Thank you.
you know, that's when helicopters come. Really.
Yeah, well, there you are. So what a career! Yeah, just a joke. What a career! Impressive. So now you are together with IDP European Consultants, and we would, of course, like to hear a little bit more what you are doing and what your company is specializing in.
Yes. I'm with IDP European Consultants. It's a niche consulting company. We are an advisory and consulting company with offices in Italy and Brussels. We have been having a constant and continuous presence in Brussels since 1991. So we are turning 30 next year. We're very thrilled. It has been a very interesting ride. We focus on European Union funding programs and European Union funding instruments. So what are the opportunities to work at European level, to finance, to obtain grant funding from European Union programs? We work with the private sector, small and medium enterprises and startups in different fields, from Internet of Things to microelectronics to helicopters, possibly. And we work a lot also extensively with universities and research community. We have different thematic areas, mainly three: research and innovation, education and training, and competitiveness and SME development. Those are the three key areas. And this allows us to cover quite a wide range of sectors and topics. And we're very thrilled that we are getting into a new stage, a new phase of EU funding programs starting from 2021.
Yeah, so no doubt you're a real expert with dealing with European funding, public funding. So next year we're going to have Horizon Europe as the big European Union funding program for aviation and the aerospace sectors. I mean, can you tell us, from my perspective, EU funding programs are more for universities or research institutions? Is there really anything which the rotorcraft sector can grab?
Actually, that's a very good point, and it sheds some light on a misconception that is often associated with these European Union funding programs and these European grants and European projects. It's a misconception that comes out quite often when I travel throughout Europe and I speak to people from different countries and sectors, that these funding programs are only for universities or the research community. It is a misconception. In fact, these funding programs and Horizon Europe from January 1st, 2021, are sort of a glue to build collaborative platforms for collaboration between worlds that sometimes do not cooperate or work together seamlessly. And that's exactly the world of research. So research centers, universities, and the world of innovation for market, which is typically the private sector. So when I look at it, I would say that European EU funding programs are, first of all, extremely flexible financing and funding instruments, are poised to be used and mobilized by all sorts of organizations in the public sector, in the private sector, in academia and research, of course, and of any size, from startups to large companies, from SMEs to business associations and business organizations. In that sense, in fact, I see that there is a great potential for the rotorcraft sector to actually tap into this EU funding stream. When you look at the rotor sector, there is a wide range of organizations from small to big, a wide range of sectors that the rotor industry can cover, from environmental to safety, from innovation to mobility, etc. So thanks for the question. It's really a key to unlock or to open the door towards EU funding programs that is really poised to be mobilized by the rotor sector.
Sounds really promising. And I mean, we had planned to have you with us over the first live edition of European Rotors to give us more inside view with some workshops, with some training lessons, with some speed datings. Now, as we had to postpone, it's a little bit of a pity, but I mean, the challenges remain for the rotorcraft sector. So is there anything our community can do to get more information about what you're describing here?
Absolutely, Frank. As everybody is shifting to digital, we are also shifting to digital. It is a pity we couldn't do it in physical presence, face-to-face. We had a fantastic program. We are shifting to digital. That means that we will be hosting a webinar, and this is going to be an opportunity not only to exchange ideas and opinions on the challenges, but most importantly, to really look at the opportunities for the rotorcraft community. So January 21st at 3 p.m., so 1500 hours, it will be a webinar jointly hosted and co-organized, and we will expect to have a wide range of participants from the rotorcraft sector.
That's really an amazing offer from your end. So I repeat, on January 21st at 3 p.m., there will be a live webinar free of charge done by your end to get more information on the first ties on how to grab some money, or let's say at least how to do some winning proposals. Gorgeous, and really thankful for that. Can you tell us some more details about the whole concept or how it's going to be organized?
Absolutely. As you said, Frank, I would remind, completely open access, free of charge. There is only a registration requirement. We will be sending out registration details and we will channel it through the network. We wanted to have a webinar that is not only informative, that is not only training. We want to have a webinar which is really interactive. So we have 3 sessions. The first session is really an introduction of what these EU funding programs are, how do they work, who is eligible, which activities can you finance with that, what are the requirements to participate? Is it cumbersome or is it streamlined? Is it difficult or not? And actually, we want to talk about myth and reality and really lay out the real opportunities that are in these EU funding programs. Then we'll go a layer deeper. We will look at what is the project lifecycle from the moment I have a project idea to the moment I have the call for proposal, write a proposal, get the approval, and then implement the project. We will look at the project lifecycle as a whole, also to allow participants to sort of calibrate their interest towards these funding programs as a medium-term strategic tool rather than a mere injection of capital. Then we'll look at the specificity of Horizon Europe. What's in it for me? What's in it for the Rotocraft sector? And we will also go into brainstorming session. I will ask participants to brainstorm, come up with ideas creatively, and then based on that initial discussion, we can also then organize other rounds of interaction, always under the edges of your initiative.
That's really thrilling, and it's not only teaching, but it's, as you're saying, it's interactive. It's not only a Q&A session, it's really a brainstorming, and I can only invite everybody here of our audience, of our partners at European Rotors, don't miss that opportunity. We're gonna present and promote the date over our social media and of course over the European Rotors homepage. Looking forward to be there with you. So that actually leads into my two final questions. First, will we see you beside the webinar? Hopefully, I think, over the first live edition, then planned from 16th to 18th November in 2021. And what do you expect from the show, and or why do you partnering with us?
The answer to the first question is absolutely yes. There is no way I'm going to miss the first edition for 2021. And on the second aspect, on the partnering, the European Rotors is a first of a kind initiative, and we look at the rotor sector as a sector with great potential, but also great interest for European policies. It's not only an issue of contribution to GDP and employment, but it's also the fact that rotors as a sector, as a whole, really encompasses different aspects of life, society, and economy. Also, Frank, we've been working on European Union policies and programs for 30 years. We have accumulated experience in this area. And recently, we came to the realization that there is a sort of a misalignment between the potential and the actual involvement of the rotor sector as a whole in the participation in these funding programs. So if I can sum it up, it's really the interest is a function of also the potential and this really this drive to bring the rotors a little bit more central in European policies, in European programs, and advancing research and innovation of a sector that somehow was not as proactively engaged.
I can only agree on that point, Lorenzo. I mean, we have started a campaign here in the Rotocraft sector calling the helicopters the beer of the aviation, as we are so versatile, as we are so helpful for the whole society. I mean, simply recall what has happened over COVID when helicopters were transporting patients everywhere. But as you were stating, we are a little bit underrepresented. We are under the radar very often in our daily flight routes, but also in the vision, or let's say in the sights of the politicians, and ambitions or initiatives like from your end. I think that they are helping a lot also to tackle it from that angle. So I really appreciate it. I really look forward to see you with live workshops in 21 edition, but now we're really looking forward to have the 21st of January, your webinar at 3 p.m. Everybody out there, don't miss it. Thank you for that, Lorenzo. It was a very interesting interview, a lot of inside information from your end. Stay safe, and we meet you then on the 21st. Ciao, Lorenzo. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. Cheers.